For 11 years, Emma never deleted a single voicemail from her husband. Not one. Every message stayed exactly where he left it, hundreds of them. Some were important, most weren't. Don't forget milk. I'm leaving work now. Can you pick up my jacket from the cleaners? Tiny pieces of an ordinary life, the kind nobody thinks about while they're happening, the kind people only miss after they're gone. Her husband, Daniel, died on a rainy Thursday afternoon. A drunk driver crossed the center line. The police said death was instant. Emma hated those words. Death was instant. As if 2 words could explain the destruction of an entire future. One moment, he existed. The next, he didn't. For months after the funeral, Emma couldn't bring herself to listen to his voice. The pain was too sharp, too real. Every recording felt like opening a wound that refused to heal. So she left them untouched. Years passed. Life moved forward the way life always does. Slowly, cruelly, without asking permission. Friends got older, children grew up, new neighbors arrived, old neighbors disappeared. But Daniel's voicemail stayed frozen in time, waiting. Sometimes Emma listened to one before bed just to hear his voice, just to remember the way he laughed, the way he stretched certain words, the way he always ended conversations with, "Love you." Even when he was calling about groceries, even when he was annoyed, even when he was busy, always, "Love you." By the 5th year, the grief wasn't as loud, but it was still there, living quietly in the background, like an old scar. Something you stop noticing until someone touches it. Then one evening, 11 years after Daniel died, Emma found an old phone while cleaning the attic, a dusty cardboard box, forgotten photographs, receipts, old chargers, and a phone she hadn't seen in over a decade. The battery was dead. The screen cracked. She almost threw it away. But something stopped her. A strange feeling, the kind you can't explain. So she charged it, waited. And eventually, the screen came back to life. At first she smiled, old photos, old messages, memories. Then she noticed something unusual, one unread voicemail. Her stomach tightened. That couldn't be right. She had listened to all of them, hadn't she? Slowly, she opened the voicemail folder. There it was, one message, unplayed, duration, 23 seconds. Emma stared at the screen. Her heart started racing, because suddenly, all she could think was, what if this was the last message? What if she had somehow missed it all those years ago? She checked the date. The message was received the day Daniel died, 3 hours before the accident. For 11 years, it had been sitting there, waiting. Her hands started shaking. She wasn't ready, yet she couldn't stop. The mystery had already taken hold. What if he knew something? What if it contained his final thoughts, his final goodbye, an apology, a secret, something important, something life-changing? For the first time in years, Emma was terrified to hear his voice. She placed the phone on the table, walked away, came back, walked away again. Then finally, she pressed play. For a second, there was only static. Then she heard him, clear as day, younger, alive. "Hey, Em." The room instantly felt smaller. Emma covered her mouth, tears already forming. Daniel continued, "Traffic is awful today." A small laugh, the same laugh she hadn't heard in years. Then, "I think I'm going to be late." More silence. Emma waited, certain something important was coming, some revelation, some final message, some hidden wisdom. Instead, Daniel said, "Could you start dinner without me?" Another small pause. Then, "Love you." And the message ended. 23 seconds. That was it. Emma sat motionless, confused, heartbroken. For years she imagined what a final message might sound like. She expected something profound, something cinematic, something worthy of being remembered forever. Instead, it was ordinary, painfully ordinary. A man calling his wife about dinner. Nothing more. And somehow, that hurt even worse. Because listening to it forced her to understand something she had spent 11 years avoiding. Nobody knows which conversation will be the last. Not when they leave for work, not when they say goodbye, not when they hang up the phone. We imagine there will always be another chance, another dinner, another conversation, another tomorrow. Daniel didn't know he had only a few hours left. Emma didn't know either. That's why the voicemail mattered. Not because it contained wisdom, not because it contained answers, because it contained life, real life, messy, ordinary, unremarkable life, the kind people take for granted every single day. Emma listened again, and again, and again. Then she noticed something she missed the first time: the background, traffic noise, a turn signal clicking, a radio playing softly, the sound of a man living a completely normal afternoon, a man who had absolutely no idea his life was about to end. That realization broke her. She cried harder than she had cried in years. Not because Daniel was gone. She already knew that. She cried because she finally understood something. The most important moments in our lives rarely feel important while they're happening. They're usually disguised as ordinary days, ordinary conversations, ordinary voicemails. And before going to sleep that night, Emma saved the recording in 3 different places. Not because it was his final message, but because it reminded her of something she never wanted to forget. Sometimes the greatest gift someone leaves behind isn't a perfect goodbye. It's a reminder that even the smallest moments were never small at all.